Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another installation of And She Rants. Today, we're talking about cycles. I don't endorse making New Year's resolutions, but I think we can all relate to that feeling of year after year having the same goal on your plate. Maybe it's like, I want to lose that weight, I want to pick up this new habit, I want to learn this new skill, I want to launch this new business. But you get to the next year and you still haven't done it. You haven't taken a step. And it's just kind of this cycle of repetition that we get into that blocks us from living our fullest potential and just being whoever God has called us to be. So today I just have 3 tips of things that you should do to help you break out of that. Essentially, all it breaks down to is you saying enough is enough to yourself and being tired of living in the same repetitive process and being stuck in the same place. So the first thing to do when you're trying to break out of any kind of cycle that's holding you back is you need to write down what the cycles are, and you need to write down the patterns of behavior that you have that lead you to that cycle. I'm reading this book and it's about boundaries. It's actually about boundaries in dating, and anyway, we'll get into that later. But one of the things it was talking about is like sometimes we can project that, oh, we're not seeing what we want to see. We're not like getting the outcome that we want to because there's nothing out there for us, and there's no job out there for us, or there's no relationship out there, like everybody's the same, without realizing the part that we play in repeating patterns that lead us to the same outcome. Seems like a very obvious thing, but it kind of hit me in my chest of like, ooh, what am I doing that is the same that I have not realized is some cycle and is ultimately holding me back from getting into some new dimension or new area that will help me like kind of reach the potential that I know that I have. I think it's helpful for you to, first of all, acknowledge and recognize like, oh, I am in a cycle in my dating life. Oh, I am in a cycle with the jobs that I'm going into in the job market. I'm in a cycle with my, my family and my relationship with my family, and the same outcome always having. We're having the same arguments month after month, year after year. Recognize what those cycles are for you, and then try to think of what is the pattern that leads to the outcome that keeps happening. What are the things that I do or that I say? What are the actions that I take? What are the things that I get offended by? What are the discussions I allow to happen that cause me and lead me to be in this place where I take issue with things? And, ultimately you want to get to that place of breaking that. But I think it all starts with writing down what your patterns are and digging into and really trying to figure out why. I think one of the biggest things for me was realizing a certain pattern I had in dating and realizing that, I'm dating the same type of person like over and over again. And actually I was the reason why I was doing that. And there was some need that I was fulfilling in myself that led me to repeat the same patterns and meet the same type of men. And, that was a whole nother breakthrough that's here for another day. But I think we all need to take responsibility for the way that we play a part in the cycles that are happening in our life, and not just say like we're unlucky, and not just say that, the same kind of people are attracted to us, like maybe we're attracted to them. The second thing to do to break out of a cycle that's holding you back is detach from social media. You need to detach from social media. I cannot tell you how heavy I feel sometimes from scrolling, and the experience of being on Twitter and 1 second like literally crying laughing from Black Twitter, just like some meme that's making me laugh so hard, and in the next second having like a heavy weight and tears in my eyes thinking about what's happening in the world around me, whether it's with politics or whether it's with violence or whatever. Like that feeling of just going back and forth from being happy to being sad to being happy to being sad within seconds, continuously for hours, that we end up scrolling when we do, is not healthy. It is not healthy. And part of the ways that we get into cycles is that we keep going to the same source that's causing us that pain. And for me, I think social media is one of those sources of issue. And it's kind of ironic that I'm saying this and I'm posting this to social media. I'm posting this to YouTube. I'm posting this to Instagram. I'm going to post it to Snapchat and Twitter. I don't think that there is a need to like totally get rid of social media, obviously. I think that there is a need to moderate your behavior with social media and realize that it could be a source of some of the cycles that you have. If you are dating and you've been that person who went back to that profile, you went to check it out, snuff it out, and lurk, see what was going on, and then that just led you into some cycle, you went back into something you said that you weren't going to do before, Like, not a whose fault is that, because this isn't about blame, but you need to take responsibility for cutting off the things that are leading you to a negative pattern in your life. And if that means you need to take a fast, you need to take 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, whatever, from certain platforms. If that means that you need to set aside time every day where you're like, I'm literally actively not going on this at this time, do that. Do that, because it shouldn't prevent you from living fully. That's not what it's there for. And it shouldn't prevent you from digging into the reasons why you go to social media to kind of soothe whatever other issues you're dealing with, and not allowing yourself to like get out of a pattern because you'd rather pacify yourself with watching other people live their lives. So I think the second thing to do to get out of patterns is to detach from social media, because it allows you to look at yourself and really be on your own without the influence of other people's lives, without the influence of other people's advice, other people's suggestions, other people's happening. You are forced to be with you and think about, why am I repeating these same things? And you also cut off the distractions that may actually lead you into the same patterns or cycles, because that's what the source is for you, seeing other people do certain things that you shouldn't be doing. And the third thing is, you need to get an accountability partner in order to help yourself break out of cycles. We're not meant to do life alone, and this is one of the hardest things I think for me to realize. I like to feel like I can do it all on my own. I like to feel like I can be the one who can support other people. If my best friends are listening to this, they're like, that's so hilarious, because you literally come and cry to me every 5 seconds. I need someone else to know what I have realized about myself and like what's true for me, so that when I forget, or when I want to reason myself back into a cycle, when I want to say, this cycle actually wasn't that bad, or this wasn't really the root source, and like this isn't really an issue, that there's somebody who's holding me accountable to being like, no sis, excuse me, give me your phone and get out of this situation. I'm deleting Instagram off of your phone for the day. Or somebody to say, no sis, you can't go back to that place, because you know what it makes you do, or you know how it makes you feel about yourself if you go there. No sis, you can't go back to that relationship. I'm not going to make you feel comfortable with the thing that you told me you don't want to do anymore. No sis, I'm not going to let you say and blame this on somebody at your job and put it on them, because I know that it's actually on you, because you said you were working on boundaries and you haven't set the boundaries. So that's what you need to do in this situation. Like, find the people that you trust and make them your accountability partner. Ultimately, you have to find people who feel you can be held accountable to, that you will listen to, so that when you do get weak, because we're only human and you will try to repeat the same patterns and get stuck in the same space, that they will believe in you more than you believe in yourself in that moment, and not allow you to succumb to whatever pressures, distractions, or doubt, or whatever is forcing you back into the place where you do the same thing over and over and you repeat the same patterns. It's really important for us all to get to the space where we are actively working on ourselves and putting the self-work that is required to get us to be our ultimate best. We're doing that every day, because that self-work is more important than anything else that you're doing in your life. It's more important than the job. It's more important than, wanting to watch TV, or wanting to, go out and go to a day party. Like, it's more important. Like, all those things are trivial and they come second to you doing everything you can to live the life that you were purposed to live, because literally, why else are we here? There's not infinite time to do everything that you were purposed to do. So work and give everything that you can to get there. If you have questions, comment below. I did not make a vertical video, IGTV. I don't like making vertical videos, IGTV. It's very disrespectful. Please don't make me. Cycles, I'm not going in cycles. I'll see you next time for the next rant.